Archive of Our Own, also known as AO3, is an online platform where anyone can publish fanfictions about literally anything. Launching in September of 2008, it now holds a user base of over 9 million people, with 15 million works in over 70,000 fan bases. On this amazing corner of the internet, you tend to find beautiful pieces of fiction. But what happens when they get lost to time? What can we do when they get scattered along millions of deleted works? Well, I have a story about just that. About how our archaeological experts at the andizzie channel uncovered a fictional relic almost lost to AO3, time and space. First, I should provide more context. Enough hearing me yap about this piece of unknown literature. What actually is it? What makes it so important? Well, I'm glad you asked such questions, dear viewer. Let me take you back to a time 7 years ago in a headquarters in China. Specifically that of the famous development company making masterpieces such as... No, not that one. Yes, Identity V, the world's most renowned Dead by Daylight ripoff. In these developers' minds is where our story begins. Identity V, or IDV, is an asymmetrical 1 vs 4 horror game like Dead by Daylight, but with e-daters and people running around in McDonald's uniforms. It was created within 1 month under the name Dangerous Game until it was transformed into the fully fledged game we know and detest today. Years passed as IDV began to get popular, and as all fan bases grow, people begin to ship characters together. Now, let me introduce you to our story's main characters. First, we have Mike Morton, acrobat of Hullabaloo Circus and IDV's local soy boy. Then, we have Norton Campbell, the infamous miner and black lunghaver. An interesting red string of fate brings these two souls together through one user on AO3. Star_Moon, the author of the story, namely Alone on a Hot Night, wrote such a compelling story between these two characters that even 2 years after its deletion, I spent every day thinking of it. Such an arc can never be found in modern writings, not even One Piece. A tragic story of divorce, violence, and melons. Only a great mind could think of such a tale that even Shakespeare would be envious. This fanfiction quickly became an inside joke between me and anyone unfortunate enough to let me talk about this ancient scripture. It then was coined by us as the Tonton divorce fic, ever since that point. Upon reading this beautiful piece of art, anyone could guarantee that nothing could ever describe how effortlessly beautiful and life-changing this fanfiction is. Which makes its disappearance even more a mystery. Why would such a profound piece of art be removed from the internet forever? But was it forever? When I have a will, there is a way. And that will specifically was a friend with multiple terabytes of storage and nothing better to do. Thus, our official search for the Tonton divorce fic began. On the 6th of February 2023, I began my search for the Tonton divorce fic. However, this fleeting motivation was to no avail. My search fell stagnant. My life felt devoid of any happiness. And as easy as that, the Tonton divorce fic was forgotten. Yet, on the 29th of November 2024, over a year later, that fire within me rekindled. After staying up for nights, days, weeks, even months, thinking about this flawless stamp upon human history, I began searching endlessly, even just to remember the fanfiction's name. I searched through Discord messages, AO3 searches, anything. I went to my last resort, X, the everything app. My desire burnt more and more to find it, and then I remembered the treasure of the World Wide Web, the glory for all things lost, the Wayback Machine. Instantly, I went to search for AO3 and began scrolling endlessly, searching for any glimpse of hope in the form of the Tonton divorce fic. And almost, when I was about to give up hope, I found it. Finally, my path to victory was paved before me, and shit. My hope faltered again. It hadn't been archived. I was so close. I knew their username, so why stop looking? So I did what any desperate person would do, and I commented on every single fanfiction they still had available, begging for them to bring it back. However, like all humans do, I hold the greed they only talk about in the Bible. I was impatient. I didn't want to wait for that inevitable no. I surely wasn't going to lose it another time, was I? Like an opening from the heavens, my friend bestowed upon me the best possible news. An AO3 archive website. Surely nothing could get in my way then. And like any sane person, I made him do the work for me. The light was shining at me from the end of the tunnel, and victory was mine. The Tonton divorce fic was in my grasp, and nothing could take it away from me anymore. Finally, I had the Tonton divorce fic forever. And now, my dear viewer, you shall witness it in all its glory, as I had experienced for the first time many years before. Alone on a hot night. Mike yawned as he listened to the clock ticking in his office. 11:47 it read.
He's late.
The blonde mumbled quietly as he sighed.
Not like it's the first time.
Norton was supposed to pick him up tonight. His husband, Norton Campbell, has been acting out of it lately. They've dated for 2 years and been married for 3. All those years they'd been together since nursery, it's not new for Norton to act cold towards him once in a while. He'd gotten used to it, but lately, it's just not right. He felt as if Norton had rejected him completely.
It's hot tonight.
Mike grumbled crankily. He was told their village was experiencing a blackout, so it had to be difficult for his partner to pick him up. Or so he thought. Mike let out a long, tired sigh. He'll just have to go home alone. The way to their house was quiet. It was dark. Only the light from the cab's headlights were seen.
I'll drop here.
Mike informed the driver and paid him. Mike smiled at the sight of their house. Norton bought it for the both of them. They picked it together. It wasn't extravagant. Yeah, it wasn't quite humble either. He knocked on the door following a certain pattern that only Norton and him knows. He insisted learning it to avoid any unwanted guests entering the house. Wondering why no one answered, he tried again. Still no answer. He decided to use his keys and enter their home.
Norton, sweetie, I'm home.
Mike chimed and waited for a response. Still none. Where was his lover? He went up to their bedroom. Norton wasn't there. Strange. Was he in the bathroom? Not there either. Mike shrugged it off and thought Norton was stuck in traffic. But in this hour? Doubt it. But Mike was insistent. He groaned in discomfort. He misses Norton. He wanted to hold him, tease him, annoy him, love him. He knows how much Norton hates it when someone calls him randomly. Mike hummed as he took a quick shower when waiting for a response. Feeling cool, he dried himself and slipped into his nightrobe. He checked his phone. His message wasn't even read. Mike trusts Norton with all his life, but he's worried. So he decided to call him. Norton picked up.
Eli, please, stop calling. I'm sure Mike is doing fine.
No, Nord. Is it Eli again?
A voice. Mike knew all too well. Nabe Subadar.
Yeah, sorry, baby.
Mike could hear Nabe chuckle from the other end, telling Norton it was fine.
Mike is probably worried. Aren't you gonna call him?
No, he needs to learn to stop pining on me. After all, we're filing a divorce soon.
Norton said to Nabe reassuringly, followed by what Mike could make out as a peck on the lips. Nabe hummed.
I love you, Norton.
I love you too, Nabe.
Mike could practically hear Norton smiling. He hasn't heard those words in a year. He was always, me too, or I know.
Anyways, Eli, please stop calling. Eli? Eli?
Norton was getting hesitant if this person on the line was truly his brunette friend. The moment he heard a sob, his heart dropped.
Mark?
Mike sobbed harshly. It was always him, wasn't it? He didn't want to admit it. He didn't want to admit that he was jealous of the way Nabe caught Norton's attention without even trying. How he made Norton effortlessly smile and laugh. How Norton suddenly become interested when the brunette's name was mentioned. He didn't want to admit that Norton loved someone, and that someone isn't him. Mike curled up in a ball for minutes. violently sobbing and crying. Then he began to throw a tantrum, throwing anything he grabbed onto the floor before halting abruptly and breaking down again. The electricity hasn't come back yet. It was hot. Mike was alone. Alone on a hot night. Chapter 2. Divorce Papers. It took all his strength to pick himself up, stumbling his way to the bathroom. Heavy steps and uneven panting filled the empty house. He looked at himself in the mirror, wondering where he went wrong. All these years, he had been trying to impress Norton. He loved him with all his heart, gave his everything to the Raven. So what was missing? He was cute, wasn't he? Everybody told him that. So what made Nabe so special? Did Norton relate to him? Mike relates to Norton as well, doesn't he? He was there on the darkest days. He was Norton's sunshine, or so he thought. Screaming at the top of his lungs, he punched the mirror that it broke into 100 pieces. Was it his sadistic nature? Nabe was violent too, wasn't he? So why? Why? Silence. Mike snorted, then chuckled, then became a giggling mess before laughing like a maniac. His laughter died down. He was tired. He was tired of impressing everyone, tired of impressing the love of his life. He wasn't loved, so what? He's alive, isn't he? What's the point of living? His only goal in life was to be married to his childhood sweetheart. He just didn't care anymore. Too tired to care. Too tired to breathe. Mike didn't care when he heard the front door slammed open. Mike didn't care when he slipped and fell on the floor with a loud thud. Mike didn't care when crimson spilled on the floor. He didn't care about the pain he felt as blood slipped away from his body, surrounded by glass shards. He felt his eyelids grow heavy as tears escaped his eyes. He didn't care when he heard the bathroom door slammed open. He didn't care when the voice he'd grown to love so much cried out his name in a broken tone. How he loved when Norton paid him any attention. But now, he just felt nothing. He let go. No more bonds, forgotten vows, careless love. Mike was tired. It's time for him to let go. He felt himself hoisted up and carried before completely blacking out. He enjoyed being in Norton's arms. Might as well cherish this moment since it was going to be the last. Mike awoke to hospital lights blinding him. It felt painful to move. The moment he tried moving his hand, he heard nurses entering the room.
Do you remember anything?
His doctor asked. Emily Dyer, her name tag read. Mike chuckled.
Everything.
Mike's head wound was serious, and she was ready to diagnose him with amnesia. Guess this boy was a fighter.
Oh, you're out of the hospital. There's maybe you check it out another time.
Emily hesitated to give the stack of papers.
They're divorce papers, right? Hand them to me.
Mike said, startling the doctor. She complied and gave him the papers and a pen. He signed them all without hesitation, then placed it gently on the bedside table. Emily felt sorry for this man. She could tell he used to be a bright boy, but now only dullness filled his eyes. Yet he showed such a gentle smile, it made Emily melt.
How long was I out, Doc?
2 weeks.
Emily said, yet again impressed. Usually patients would last for over 3 months. This boy's recovery was insane. Surely he'll be the talk of the hospital.
I must say, Mr. Campbell, your recovery is quite impressive. Surely everyone in this hospital will ever know you by now.
It's just Norton now.
Well, my bad, Chief.
Mike smiled in return, shutting his eyes, wanting to rest. The doctor wondered why his husband would want a divorce. Mike seemed so nice and adorable. Then again, that brunette Mr. Campbell had brought with him was quite the looker as well. Emily looked at Mike once more, expecting a sad, heartbroken blonde. But what she saw was a determined face. Chapter 3. You smell like oranges.
Doctor, Mr. Morton is missing.
What do you mean missing? He's probably just using the bathroom.
That's not it, Miss Dyer. His bed is arranged neatly, and his hospital clothes are folded on top of his desk.
Emily was stunned. What a handful. She chuckled.
Let him be.
But
Just listen. That kid is a fighter.
Mike clutched his pink hoodie tightly. His clothes had been washed by the hospital staff, which he was grateful for, but he can't just sit by and let the people there pamper him. He bumped into someone. Panicked when he saw a male dressed in an officer's uniform. Quite attractive he was. He had brown locks and a refined jawline. His beard made him look mature, and those heterochromic eyes of blue and brown made him look stunning. The blonde blushed immensely.
Sorry, officer.
He stuttered out, cursing at himself for sounding so submissive. The officer looked at him for a while as if he was checking him out, before showing a reassuring smile.
No worries, sweet cheeks. Be careful next time.
His voice was deep and rich, similar to Asop, Mike's cousin. Mike returned his smile with a grin.
Thanks, officer. You're really nice.
Joe Biden. I'm a Jose Biden.
Huh?
My name.
Mike Morton.
Mike gave a confident grin. He was going to be a new man. Jose leaned down to the blonde's ear and slipped something in Mike's hoodie pockets.
Throw me. That's my business card.
Impressive.
Mike flushed.
Very nice.
You smell like oranges.
What did he just say? What did Mike blurt out? Mike stumbled to form words.
You like oranges?
Yes, I like fruits.
Very well. See you around, Mr. Morton.
Mike bid his goodbye, trying to calm his beating heart. He wasn't over Norton yet, but he was a sucker for guys with deep voices and broad shoulders. Chapter 4. The Sympathy of Asop Carl.
Thanks, Soap. You're the best.
Asop groaned at the nickname his cousin gave him.
Stop calling me Soap.
Sure thing, Soap.
This guy, really? Asop chuckled. That's just how Mike was. It was one of the things he was known for, clowning around. Circus clown, that was their nickname for him. He kept insisting to change clown to acrobat, but nobody
You're not that
budged.
guy, pal, trust
Now
me.
their group of friends just consisted of the both of them. Asop Carl was a close friend of the Mortons and Campbells. He always saw Mike as someone dear to him. Same goes for Norton, but that changed when he saw his true colours.
I'm sorry.
The sound of glass shattering echoed across the room. Norton fixed himself and hurriedly slipped up his boxers while throwing a blanket over a nude Nabe. Both expressions guilty and scared.
What the fuck?
Breathed out Asop. Eli told him to bring dinner for Nabe and Norton, who were hanging out upstairs. Now he knew why Eli was shaking when he handed the silver dinner.
Asop,
Nabe stuttered, visibly ashamed and confused.
Aesop. I love him.
Norton stated. Both eyes were on him.
What about Mike?
Nabe visibly flinched, but Norton showed indifference, holding the brunette close.
You and I both know the only love existing in our relationship is his admiration for me.
You fuck. Don't you know how much Mike loves you?
Asop yelled. Asop never raised his voice. Ever. Both of them flinched. Even Eli, who was listening from the stairs.
I love Mike too. He's like a little brother to me. But with Nate, I feel different. I feel at home. I feel happy.
Norton looked at the brunette and gave him a reassuring smile. Nabe couldn't help but blush.
If you aren't happy with Mike, why did you marry him?
For a front. Everyone was pressuring me to marry Mike. Honestly, I never thought of him that way. I already knew he had a crush on me, but I pretended not to notice. I didn't want to get his hopes up. And besides, Nate was the only one I see.
Asop left without another word. On his way down, he encountered Eli.
You knew?
Eli nodded.
Why didn't you say anything? I thought you loved me.
I do, but you seemed so happy with Norton that I couldn't bear to.
So you betrayed Mike. You betrayed our friendship.
Eli was speechless.
I thought you knew better.
And with that said, Asop walked out of their lives. For a while, Asop contemplated in telling Mike, but he decided to wait. He knew that the blonde wouldn't take it lightly. He might do something stupid, And boy, was Asop right.
It's fine. I knew he didn't see me that way. I was being delusional, so it's my fault.
Blonde said with a smile, but the tears forming his eyes were breaking his act.
You can cry. You know,
Asop said, looking away to give the blonde his privacy. He could feel Mike stare at him for a while. He was going to interrupt the silence, but then he heard it. A sob, a faint cry from the blonde, and then a total mess of whimpers, sobs, hiccups, and tears. Lots of tears. Without looking, Asop reached a hand out to ruffle Mike's blonde locks.
I don't understand that game from my heart. Like, I really
Mike erupted to a sobbing mess as he hugged himself tightly. He felt arms wrap around him. The warmth feels so nice after long cold nights of being alone. It really does. Asop hushed him like a mother comforting a child. Mike had been through a lot. Poor boy was hurting and Asop could feel it. Chapter 5, his very own restaurant.
I wanna cook.
Mike blurted out on a Sunday morning whilst eating breakfast. Asop stopped midway from placing a piece of pancake on his mouth.
maybe you can eat lunch too.
No, I want to be a cook.
Mike beamed, his eyes glinting in impossible gold, but Asop swore he saw it.
I'm not too sure what you mean. Wait, you...
Asop dropped his fork in realization.
Is this why you kept asking where to buy a small empty shed? You want to own a restaurant?
Mike grinned at his smart cousin.
You what?
The silverhead sighed.
And where are you getting the money to buy one? Not to mention all the tables and chairs. Also renovation of the kitchen, the utensils, the bells, the...
Okay, I get it.
The blonde covered his ears, a pout replacing his cheeky grin.
Let me dream, will you? Shucks.
Asop shook his head.
You have a job interview at 11. It's 10:30. We should get going.
Mike groaned but complied anyways.
I want to be Bezos man, it's boring.
Whined the sapphire-eyed blonde. Asop quietly hushed him and told him not to blow his job interview. Mike grumbled under his breath as he knocked on the door. He could hear giggling from the inside. Just what was happening? He's here for a job interview, not for a fucking chat with strangers.
Coming.
A gruff voice said. Mike recognized that voice from somewhere, but he couldn't recall where. Mike twisted the doorknob open, and with a deep breath, he opened the door. What he saw baffled him beyond belief. The handsome man that he saw about a month ago, Jose was it? Was sitting on the interviewer's chair, whilst an extremely attractive woman sat on his lap, continuing to giggle with him. She had long curly brown locks and definitely had watermelons, and a bust that could put peaches to shame. The flirting stopped abruptly when Jose took notice of the blonde, his eyes widening and his demeanor changed from being relaxed to looking shocked and nervous.
Jose, is something wrong?
The woman asked as she eyed Mike from top to bottom. He was wearing a pink polo shirt accompanied by jet black jeans secured by a white belt. His shoes were brown and pointy.
Demi, can I ask you to excuse us for a while?
Jose coughed out, his hands releasing Demi's waist. She cocked him a brow, then shrugged and left without another word, going past Mike and closed the door behind her.
So, I'm here for a job interview, Sir Biden.
Mike piped up, walking forward and taking a seat. Jose seemed to look pleased that the blonde remembered his name.
Jose, it's fine.
Mike snickered awkwardly.
Yeah, so, when do we begin?
The brunette male chuckled.
You never told me.
Mike smirked playfully at Jose.
Judging from what I saw, I feel like I didn't need to.
He loved teasing people. It was just his nature. Barden was taken aback, however. Mike was full of surprises. He always thought the smaller male was the shy type ever since they met.
Ah, that. Don't worry about it, my dear. Demi's just a friend.
Oh? Do all your friends normally sit on your lap, my sweet?
Mike retorted, completely forgetting that this was a job interview. It seemed like the brunette did too. Jose could feel his stomach flutter at the nickname.
Why? Would you like to try?
He smirked playfully, brown and blue eyes glinted excitement. Mike returned the smirk and stood up, slowly leaning into Jose's ear, before saying in a sickeningly sweet tone,
I assume you can handle me like one.
Jose grinned widely at the invitation, but before he could attack Mike, the door suddenly slammed open, causing Mike to abruptly sit down as both faced the door nervously. Standing there was a young man with brown hair tied to a ponytail in red formal attire. He had a knowing smirk on his face.
Luca, don't you know how to knock?
Jose asked, annoyed. The boy named Luca only laughed and waved a few documents in his hands.
Sorry, boss. Chief Keith told me to hand these over to you immediately.
Jose cocked his brow.
What for?
Luca shrugged, already out the room.
Said something about a restaurant shutting down or something.
He said before closing the door shut. Mike perked up at the mentioned information.
Hey, sir, but... Jose?
The blonde started. Jose's attention quickly went towards Mike.
What is it, Sugar Plum?
Actually, I'd like to have a
Restaurant?
restaurant of my own.
Oh? Then why would someone as cute as you want to own one?
Well, I...
Not saying you're incapable or anything, but I think you'll be better under my care.
Jose smirked at his own remark. It grew wider when he saw the blonde struggling to find words.
But don't worry, babe. I'll help you.
The brunette offered. No, volunteered his assistance. The blonde tilted his head in confusion. Jose found it extremely adorable.
I'll pay for everything so you don't have to worry about anything other than keeping your hands busy creating wonderful meals for the customers. And for me.
Jose smiled at him genuinely. Was Mike dreaming? This had to be a dream. No person can be this kind. Maybe Jose was different. Mike felt a familiar racing of his heartbeat, the one he used to feel whenever Norton was around. Mike showed Jose a soft smile, muttering a simple,
Thank you.
yet even the small of an act made the officer crazy in love. Chapter 6: The Curious Case of Asop Carl. Every day was the same for Asop Carl. Wake up, take a bath, get dressed, eat breakfast, go to work, come home, eat dinner, and then call it a day. However, that abruptly changed when his cousin, Mike Morton, moved in with him. Things have been livelier lately. He'd wake up to breakfast in bed and have the bath ready for him. Although he was thankful, Mike shouldn't feel obliged to do all this stuff. Once he confronted the blonde about it, Mike just shrugged him off, saying that he was used to doing this, so he should just let him be. Sighing in defeat, Asop could only accept his service his relative was giving him. It was nice though. Work was uneventful as usual. He tried to continue his foster father's embalming services, but ended up being a salesman instead. Jerry said, learn to be social first. Yeah, right. Asop hated to converse with people. He much rather preferred the dead over anything else. Eli Clark was an exception though. Well, used to be. They were inseparable since their school days. Asop had grown to be infatuated by the brunette male. Eli was different, he argued. Eli was considerate, wise, and understanding. He was always their philosopher in times of distress. Seeing how Eli was now, Asop had realized the true power of love, and he grew terrified of it. Eli fell in love with Nabe. Asop hated admitting it. He wanted to be the one the animal lover liked. But he can't change the way people think, no matter what he did. In fact, he did confess. Eli turned him down in the most polite way possible, still valuing their friendship. The silverhead could only smile in sadness and thank the brunette for sharing his time. After that, all were back to normal, as if the confession never happened in the first place. And truth be told, Asop preferred it that way. However, what did hurt him the most was the fact that Eli still continued to pine over Nabe, despite knowing it was hurting the silverhead male. Sighing, the tired salesman made his way to the elevator. Work was done for today. He grunted in joy, and also yelped since he bumped into somebody and he fell on his ass. His big, bodacious, juicy ass.
My big juicy butt.
Asop groaned as he massaged his painful ass. A hand was extended to him, offering help. Looking up, he was met with a gorgeous-looking man. His crisp white locks fell down perfectly against his pinkish pale skin. His sky-blue eyes were bright and mesmerizing behind those rounded glasses. His lips were a pretty pink shade that Asop enjoyed seeing.
Well, you all like to watch the
A rich melodic voice laced with a French accent echoed through to his ears like a siren's lament. Asop didn't believe that angels exist, but now he'd like to rethink. Snapping out of his trance, he took the man's hand and helped himself up. Now that they were standing, the man was approximately 3 inches taller than him. Not bad, considering he was standing at 6'1". Asop tried to say, but stuttered in the process.
Yeah, way, sir.
Joseph. Joseph, there's a meal.
Asop will never forget that name, ever. Come to think of it, why does it sound familiar, as if he's heard it from somewhere? He nodded and bowed. He was used to greet strangers formally.
It's of Carl. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Thistle-New.
Please, Moshe, call me Joseph.
Asop was surprised, to say the least. First name basis right off the bat? This man sure knows how to rush things, but in a good way. Asop could only chuckle and nod.
I'll remember that, Joseph.
That name seemed to roll off his tongue satisfyingly, like he was born to say it. Joseph's smile widened as he waved at the Silverhead, walking towards the main hall.
Until next time, Asop. Au revoir.
For some reason, Asop didn't feel irritated when this person called him by his name. In fact, he felt butterflies instead. Strange, why would that be? The taller male entered the CEO's office without knocking, a genuine smile upon his face.
What's starting into, Joseph? You look like you ate a lemon for the first time, Sappy.
Jack Whistler, the CEO of the company Asop was working in, teasingly said.
Shut up, Ismail. I just ruined my good mood, thanks a lot.
Joseph said as he rolled his eyes, taking a seat in one of the couches.
So, lost track, are we? Asop Carl, yeah?
Jack smirked. Joseph flipped his head to look at the Raven, eyes narrowing in suspicion.
How much do you know?
He was the boy who arranged the funeral of your brother, yeah?
I've always wanted to thank him. He made everything so beautiful. Even Claude was dead. Looked like he was only sleeping. Don't think of it. How did he end up in your company, Jack?
At first, I was never gonna accept him. He was too anxious for his own good. But then, I read his background.
You wanted to use him to lure me in a partnership, didn't you?
Joseph sighed, already knowing the answer. Jack only laughed in victory.
Ha 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 ha! An exceptional guess, my dear. Surely the heir of the dishonest enterprise.
Joseph groaned, rubbing his temples.
Save your fruitless prayers. That will work on me.
Sure. But that's something that surely will.
Jack mocked as he waved Asop's profile in front of Joseph's face. Curious, Joseph reached out but was stopped when Jack restrained him from doing so. Jack rhythmatically clicked his finger as if saying, "Not so fast." Joseph groaned. The Whistlers weren't bad as partners. They were reliable and stable. Joseph just thought Jack was too shady.
It's a deal.
Joseph extended his right arm, to which Jack gladly shook.
It's all yours.
Jack hummed as he handed the papers to the love-struck man. Joseph smirked. Finally, Asop was going to be his, no matter what. Chapter 7. Eli Clark's Apology. Eli sighed as he sunk down on his chair. He fucked up. He fucked up real bad. Closing his eyes, he tried to recall the previous events that occurred a while ago. He had never seen Asop so distressed. Although the Silverheads looked stoic, the brunette could still see through his facade. Asop was hurt. Eli felt terrible. He valued Asop as a friend. Although he was attracted to the soft-willed male, his attraction towards Nabe Subadar was stronger. He saw Nabe as someone fearless, passionate, strong-willed, caring, and affectionate. Eli was never the type to deal with delinquents, but something about this sapphire-eyed brunette made his heart race abnormally. He was attracted to the confidence Nabe emits. His sharp blue orbs matches with his usual frown, but goes well with his occasional playful smirk. Nabe was the light to his life. Eli could never muster up the courage to confess. He couldn't tell Asop earlier about Norton and Nabe's affair. As much as he hated Norton's guts, he loved Nabe too much to tattle on him. Stupid, but that's how Eli was. He chooses to make his beloved happy, even if it hurts him. He also valued their friendship. He knew how much Mike trusted Norton and Nabe. He wasn't dense. He could always feel the tension between Norton and Subadar. He had a nagging feeling that the blonde knew but refused to acknowledge his suspicions. It was only a matter of time before the truth comes to light. And it did. To say that Eli was worried sick was an understatement. He had just received news from Nabe that Mike was hospitalized, and Eli could only guess the reason why. To make matters worse, Norton had decided to end their marriage whilst Mike was still recovering. The brunette felt worse after knowing that. Mike didn't deserve this. Life was cruel to the blonde, yet all Mike could do was smile. That's how it always has been, hasn't it? Now that he knew Mike and Norton were over, there was no way he could compete to gain Maeve's affection. He hated admitting it, but Norton was an attractive man indeed. He had the money, power, fame, and the looks. Eli only had his pet owl Brooke to make up for his petty actions. He opted to apologize to Asop and Mike. He shouldn't hesitate, but he was scared. Hypocritical of him to say that since he was the one who rejected Asop before, he just hoped it's not too late for forgiveness.
You're a good guy, Eli Clark.
Asop spoke up, a gentle smile plastered upon his usual indifferent face. Eli's eyes widened as he grew flustered. He wasn't sure if it was from the Silverhead's response or from the soft smile he gave.
I know how much you've probably worried over our friendship, especially with Mike.
Asop's smile faltered, returning to his usual frown as he looked down at his coffee.
Cheetos, chicken!
Asop rarely ever smiled, and when he did, it would not fail to shine brighter than the sun. Eli wanted to see him smile more.
However, I can assure you that Mike is recovering well, both mentally and physically.
The Silverhead took a small sip from the hot caffeine before setting it down to meet with sapphire blue orbs. Eli tensed. Had Asop looked this pretty before? He couldn't tell. All the years he had known Asop for, he never really had the time to just stare and gawk at the male's beauty. Asop was indeed pretty. He had dull grey eyes, yet it shimmered in the sunlight. The silver locks fell gracefully against his pale white skin, and his precious pink lips glistened. How had Eli missed such beauty?
Eli?
The brunette snapped out from his admiration when Asop called out his name.
Yes.
He stuttered out, cursing himself for getting lost in the silver-grey orbs of the latter.
We're gonna get you to a doctor, sweetheart.
Asop's frown deepened.
If you're still not convinced, I'll call Mike right now.
No, I mean...
Eli cleared his throat.
No need for that. I believe you, Asop.
Asop's gaze softened.
I'm glad.
The comfortable silence was interrupted with 3 knocks on the door. Asop raised a brow. He wasn't expecting any guests today. Then again, he didn't expect Eli Clark to show up. The Silverhead excused himself and approached the front door and opened it slightly to see who was knocking, stiffening as he realized who it was. His face was full of confusion, but he couldn't hide the blush on his cheeks. Eli peered curiously at the door, eyes widening at the figure that stood proud and tall. A man with icy blue eyes that pierced through hearts. Long platinum locks flowed gracefully down his face, as it is kept neatly by a golden bow. A gentle smile on his face as he stared at Asop, the rising heir of the Desaulniers enterprise. Joseph Desaulniers. The brunette's brows were furrowed in confusion, but was soon filled with unease as the latter pulled out a bouquet of yellow roses and handed them to a flustered Asop. Eli felt a bile rise up from his throat. He didn't like what he was seeing.
Good day to you, mon amour.
Joseph's crystal voice ringed. His gaze soon caught a brunette on the couch, glaring at him with what he can make out as jealousy.
Oh, did I come at a bad time?
The platinum-haired male raised a brow at the brunette. Asop was confused, but then realized Joseph was referring to Eli.
No, not at all. I was merely visiting my good friend Asop.
Eli changed his expression to a friendlier one when Asop looked back at him. Asop sighed and scratched the back of his neck, his other hand holding the bouquet with care. Joseph merely cleared his throat and smiled warmly at Asop, completely ignoring the brunette.
Well, Moshe, I will not for too long. As much as I wish to accompany you for the whole day, I'm very busy at work.
It's alright.
Asop reassured, his eyes frantically looked in different ways, indicating his bashfulness. Both men found it adorable.
I sure do hope your planet friend will entertain you well.
Joseph glared at Eli.
I shall be taking my leave then, Moshe. Take care.
Before leaving, he gave Asop a quick peck on the forehead, smirking at the furious brunette as he turned his heel and waved goodbye to his beloved Asop. Asop stood in the doorway stunned with a bouquet of his favorite flower in hand, yellow roses.
What was that all about? Is he your lover or something? Does he do this often?
The brunette was totally out of character at this moment. He felt confused at this feeling of jealousy. Didn't he love Nabe? Why was he so opposed to the idea of Asop liking another man other than him? Asop liked him, didn't he? He confessed to Eli. It was also confusing.
Joseph is courting me, and I have no idea why.
I have every idea why.
Eli mumbled under his breath.
Did you say something?
Why wouldn't you? You're adorable.
Fuck, that was not what he wanted to say. Asop opened his mouth to speak, but nothing came out, so he closed it. A blush slowly formed on his cheeks, which gave Eli a bit of hope.
Stop patronizing me. You'll give up eventually.
Asop grumbled as he sat back down to finish his coffee.
Aren't you planning to answer him?
Eli hoped Asop said no. He didn't know why, he just didn't like the idea of Asop belonging to anyone. Perhaps anyone but him.
I'm not sure.
Asop answered honestly. Joseph was a good guy, he was handsome and influential. He would be lying if he said he didn't find the man attractive. It was just the Silverhead's insecurities that kept him from accepting affection from others. What if Joseph will grow tired of him? What if once Joseph gets to know him he decides Asop wasn't the one for him after all? What if he gives himself away to only give it given back? He doesn't want to feel rejected anymore. He didn't want to feel like he isn't good enough again. Asop has always been anxious. Made him the most careful decision maker of the group. Eli could only nod in silence as he observed Asop finish his coffee before smiling softly at the mail. Eli is acting weird, thought Asop. Eli had always been his own kind of eccentric, but he was acting more affectionate than usual. Sure, Asop and Eli were close friends, a simple hug once in a while would be okay, but Asop doesn't know if he's imagining things, or if Eli was making excuses to have more skinship. The occasional compliments from the brunette confused the Silverhead to the brim of insanity. He was over Eli, he thinks. The boy rejected him for goodness sake, so why was Asop getting so flustered over small little things? It's as if, dream on, Asop Carl. Eli will never love you. Stop hoping. The brunette bid farewell after a while of catching up with Asop and Mike's situation, that includes the restaurant and all. Although Asop hadn't need mention it, most of their friends know that Mike was going to start a business. Even a certain Raven and Brunette. Not once have they tried to reach out yet, however.
Hope to visit again soon.
Eli smiled warmly, a smile that made Asop's heart race 1,000,000 times each minute. But he knew better than to fall for that sweet charm again. The Silverhead nodded and was about to say something until a cheerful voice chimed inside the house. That voice. Eli turned his head to the door, his eyes widen in awe as Mike Morton stood in the doorway. A beaming grin plastered on his adorable face. His face a little flushed from the heat outside. The sweat trickled down his pale, creamy skin. Freckles like stars scattered on his face. His hair was now a deep strawberry colour. He swore of what seemed to be a chef's outfit. Quite a crafty and messy look for a chef, but Eli did not doubt Mike's skills. Mike's smile only widened as he saw Eli Clark in his humble abode. With a dramatic gasp, he carefully placed the grocery on the floor and tackled his brunette friend into the tightest of warm hugs, muttering a soft,
I missed you.
How Eli missed this as well.
So you're a famous chef now.
Shucks, Eli. I've only started 4 months ago, but business is doing great. We get more and more customers each day. I might have to plan for an extension with Fozer.
The strawberry bean giggled. Eli blinked. Eli? Never mind that. Who was this?
Jose.
Eli asked out loud. Mike stopped giggling after Eli asked, and a small shade of red formed his cheeks.
He's a really good friend.
Asop cleared his throat as he rolled his eyes and smirked.
Yeah, right. Friend.
Asop, shut up. He's just a friend, really.
Just answer him already. You're so weak for him.
Asop shook his head as he nudges a shock to Eli.
You want to talk?
Mike grinned pridefully as he saw Asop's expression falter into embarrassment, muttering something like,
Oh, like Joseph, I just think he looks hot is all.
Eli heard this and couldn't shake the feeling of tightness around his heart. He needed to act fast.
Well, I should get going. It's getting late.
So 5,000?
Well...
Eli became beet red, unable to form words. Both men found this cute.
Why not stay for dinner?
Excuse me?
Eli asked, not believing the question.
I can whip up something delicious and sweet for dessert. What would you like, Eli?
Eli's gaze turned to Asop, who curiously tilted his head. Fuck, that's adorable.
You...
Mike raised a brow and Asop turned red.
I mean, you said Asop.
Eli awkwardly scratched the back of his head.
I really didn't know. That was such a bad.
Well, if it's Asop, I'm sure no answer with.
Strawberry cheesecake.
Asop said hastily, puffing out his flustered demeanor. Mike grinned at this and headed for the kitchen before the Silverhead called out.
Start with cooking dinner first.
I totally forgot about that. Thanks, Soap.
Eli chuckled at Mike's antics before turning his attention to Asop.
So, what now?
Chapter 8, Cocoa Bean. Norton was sleepless. His mind was preoccupied with so many doubts and fears, yet in the end, he still knew better than to move the proposal to another day. No, I must do it today. Today, he firmly thought. He's been preparing for this huge and major event in his life for the past few months, and he wasn't going to let the opportunity to be with Nabe forever slip out of his hands.
You okay, Nord? You seem to be spacing out lately.
His lover Nabe massages his shoulders as he worriedly questions his partner, who flinched in the tiniest way possible. Norton breathes out and he shakes his head.
I'm fine, babe. Don't worry about me.
The brunette hummed before planting a kiss on Norton's cheeks, walking out of the living room and towards the kitchen.
Yo, what should we have for dinner?
Nabe asked him from the other side of the house, and Norton raises his head up swiftly.
No need to cook anything. We'll be on out tonight.
Loud chatters and murmurs echoed all around the bright restaurant, the sound of the wind chime ringing every time new customers enter the venue. People, mostly of high class, were there, curious and excited to taste the wonderful cooking by the one and only Cocoa Bean.
Oh yes, it's not a problem.
Closing the door to his office, a redhead holds a pen in his hand and a receipt list in the other, a phone placed between its tilted head and lifted shoulders. He scribbled some notes as the caller spoke, then he slams the two objects down his table and takes his phone to hold it more properly.
Everything will be arranged as per to your instructions, good sir.
He beams as the person on the phone says something which makes the male giggle.
It's a pleasure doing business with you, Mr. Whistler. I will be looking forward to our meeting later on.
Mike sighs as his hand falls limp to the side, and he stares at the list down the table.
Guess we'll have to skip dinner then.
Cocoa Beans? Never heard of this place before.
Nabe raises a brow in suspicion as Norton took him by the hand, dragging him towards the entrance. Before entering, the taller shrugs.
It's new, and heard this place is currently vacant. Even high-class people come here for meals.
Nabe blinks in amusement and nods anyway, being the one to push open the glass door. The graceful sound of the wind chime rang across the whole place, and a familiar male greets the pair. His face was tainted with messy makeup, reddish-brown eyeshadow surrounding his eyes that made them look even more hollow and dark. A dark streak ran across his left eye and a candy tattoo below the right. Blood-red lipstick was applied onto his thin lips, making him look like some kind of beaten-up waiter. His uniform, a suit, was tattered with sauces and food particles as a part of the design, but the most visible design was the cake icing on his shoulder. Like, legit cake icing.
Welcome to Cocoa Beans.
He bows down slightly, paying respect and greeting the newly arrived customers. Norton blinks in surprise, and Nabe points to the waiter with a smile.
Hey, Soap.
The male, who never really paid attention to their faces in the first place due to his bad socializing skills, glances up and meets their eyes. He's left speechless and doesn't say anything, taking a step back in realization.
Norton? Nabe?
I didn't know you worked here.
He exclaimed, still not over the fact that this friend who disappeared a few months back is now standing before him, working in one of the most famous restaurants in town. Asop laughs lightly, trying to be discreet about being uncomfortable with the sudden reunion, but Norton notices this and raises a brow. Strange. Why is he working in such a crowded place like this? Their small get-together was short-lived when another batch of customers, this time there was more than 5 of them, entered the venue, occupying the reception and waiting area. They were all wearing semi-formal attire, and Asop flinches and stares at the big group, realizing who they were. Just when he grabs his phone to relay a message, someone squeezes themselves through the group of businessmen, muttering, "Excuse me," and coming through every time the men would look at him with irritated glances. The brunette waves at Asop.
Hey, Carl. Where's Pinky?
He asks out loud, and Norton and Nabe, who were still standing there, averted their eyes from the group of men towards Asop and the unfamiliar man.
Mr. Whistler and his co-partners are here.
He whispers, but still loud enough for the closest people, the couple, to hear. Pinky? Nabe and Norton looks at each other with curious faces. Must be an employee. Asop glances at his phone before stuffing it back inside his suit.
He said Mr. Whistler already texted him they've arrived. They'll be out any second.
A loud bang is heard from one of the corners of the locale, but it was still drowned by the noise of the busy restaurant, only the ones not occupied with their food able to pay attention and take notice of it. Norton furrows his brows in curiosity, leaning to the side to properly see who just came out of the employee room. What he sees makes his eyes widen in pure shock. There, walking like an absolute star, is the same person who used to cling on to him so much. The same person who was head over heels for him. That was until a few months ago. A bright and cheery smile is imprinted on his adorable and cute face, and his blonde locks were now in a shade or strawberry red. A chef's hat sitting on top of his head as if it were a crown. His golden blue orbs were still as bright as ever, like the incident that took place a few months ago never happened. His white button-on was opened, revealing his creamy skin, and his intricate collarbone could be seen, clear as day. Above his button-on was a blue vest, and above it was a jumper of the same colour, only lighter and brighter. It had tons of designs and details that made him look like he was occupied with so many hobbies, cooking being one of them. Norton blinks, unable to believe the sight before him. Nabe too was shocked. He nudged his tall lover by the ribcage, leaning up to whisper by his ear.
Did you know he was going to be here?
The Raven shakes his head discreetly, and Asop was the one to look at them weirdly this time. Deep inside, a smirk was painted on his dark cardinal lips. Do you see this, Norton? This is proof that Mike can achieve a lot of great things, with or without you. Norton glances at the brunette beside Asop, who stared at Mike with glistening and admiring eyes. Didn't know why, but this made him clench his fist.
Hey, bro.
The officer greets, holding Mike's waist as he planted a kiss on his cherry cheeks. Mike giggles at this and he embraces Jose sweetly.
Oh, Jose. Here. You really took time to come visit me?
The two continued to chatter lightly, throwing flirty compliments at each other, and Asop clears his throat. Mike and Jose snap out of their own world, and the redhead chuckles. Finally, he turns his attention to the couple who's been standing there for a while, watching every scene unfold. Mike's eyes widen for a second, but it takes him no time to recover, and he flashes them his smile.
Welcome to Cocoa Beans. Hope you enjoy your stay.
Norton and Nabe were speechless for a while, and before Mike could walk away, Norton manages to call him out.
Mike.
Asop's eyebrow twitched. Oh, how he hated Norton calling out Mike's name. He didn't deserve to be associated with Mike anymore. Not after the pain he made the poor boy go through, and the suffering he had to undergo. Mike pauses, turning to Norton with a smile that never faltered.
It's Cocoa Bean now.
Right after that, he walks away, greeting Mr. Whistler and his batch, and he left Norton and Nabe with dropped jaws and wide eyes. It was like Mike was a totally different person, and it's true. Mike was, indeed, a changed man. Hello to all you lovely people who watched to the end of the video. I wanted to thank you for keeping your attention retained for this long and for supporting my channel. YouTube has always been a passion of mine, and I'd love to eventually monetize not only for myself, but to make sure that my cat Cheese has all the vet support she will ever need. I'd really appreciate you if you'd like, comment, subscribe, and everything else to support the channel.